Today, we'll talk about the real cause of cancer and how we can use that understanding to stop it. It's commonly believed that cancer is a genetic disease caused by mutations, and that once these mutations occur, there's no way to reverse them and thus no way to heal cancer. But this is wrong. The real cause of cancer isn't mutations. The real cause of cancer is a dysregulated metabolism. The good news for us is that by normalizing this metabolic function, we can stop cancer. So that's what we'll look at today. First, we'll have to understand how metabolic dysregulation causes cancer, and then we can look at two things we can do completely on our own to begin correcting this dysfunction to stop cancer. By the way, I'm Cedric and I'm one of the co-founders of Marchwood. We've got over 120 citations to back up our claims, and understanding and beating cancer is all we do all day long. As I said at the start, the common belief is that cancer is a genetic disease. The idea is that mutations slowly accumulate in the genomes of our cells, eventually becoming so numerous that our cells turn cancerous. Basically, all of modern medicine places its bets against cancer on this theory. But science has shown that this theory is wrong. It has been shown that the cause of cancer isn't genetic mutations, but rather it stems from a dysregulated metabolism of cells. There's one study that shows this particularly well that I want to share with you. To understand this study, we need to know that the cell can roughly be divided into two parts: the nucleus and the cytoplasm that surrounds the nucleus. The nucleus is the part of the cell that contains the genome. Consequently, the nucleus is also where the mutations reside in cancer cells. In contrast, the cytoplasm contains none of the cell's genome. So, now that we've got the basics down, we can look at the study I mentioned. In this study, researchers took the nuclei of cancerous cells and transplanted them into cytoplasms of healthy cells, and vice versa. If genetic mutations were truly the cause of cancer, we would expect a cancerous nucleus to cause the formation of cancer cells, since the genome and thus the genetic mutations reside within the nucleus. Inversely, we would expect a healthy nucleus inside of a cancerous cytoplasm to form a healthy cell, since the genome inside of the healthy nucleus isn't mutated. But reality showed the opposite. A cancerous nucleus with genetic mutations inside of a healthy cytoplasm yielded healthy cells, whereas a healthy nucleus inside of a cancerous cytoplasm yielded cancer cells. This shows that the cause of cancer cells lies in the cytoplasm and not in the genetic mutations in the nucleus. If we take a closer look at the cytoplasm of cancer cells, we can see that they all contain damaged mitochondria. Now, you may have heard of these mitochondria before as powerhouse of the cell, because they are extremely important for cellular metabolism. They are small compartments residing within the cytoplasm. Beside their importance to metabolism, they also monitor cell health and regulate cell growth. They even have the ability to force a cell to commit suicide if it becomes so damaged that it's potentially dangerous to the organism. The reason that cancer cells don't commit suicide despite being both damaged and dangerous to you is because their mitochondria are so damaged and impaired that this quality control function is simply no longer active. This gives cancer cells free rein to grow without worrying about the mitochondria killing them. The good thing is that we can normalize mitochondrial function by changing our lifestyle and diet. This attacks cancer at its root cause. But I'm sure you're not here just to hear me talk about abstract science. I'm guessing you want to know how you can use that knowledge and what you can do to fight cancer. So let's look into a few things you can do. The first step is to go onto a ketogenic diet. This will cause your body to enter ketosis. This is a metabolic state where your body switches from relying on sugar to relying on fats and ketones for energy as the primary fuel source. On its own, doing this has been shown to significantly improve cancer survival. The reason this works is because it forces changes to cellular metabolism which result in less damage to the mitochondria and higher levels of mitochondrial activity. If you think back, this means that the mitochondria will be more capable of regulating cell growth and controlling cell health. For the cancer cells, this means that the mitochondria will either regulate their growth or the mitochondria will outright kill them if they are damaged beyond repair. Of course, going on such a diet is much easier said than done. A ketogenic diet requires the elimination of all carbohydrates. That means no bread, no pasta, no potatoes, no sweets, no rice, and much, much more. This elimination of carbohydrates, of course, doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough to put you into sufficient ketosis. Still, less is better. Given how common carbohydrates are, especially in the Western diet, going cold turkey can be very difficult. I personally found it easier that way, but I do understand that for some, a slow transition comes more naturally. In order to track the success of your ketogenic diet, I'd recommend an acetone breathalyzer. They're cheap and they allow you to see the effect of certain foods on your level of ketosis. If you eliminate all carbohydrates and you still can't seem to get into ketosis, you might be eating too little fat. Remember, you're no longer eating any carbs. That means your body has to get all of its energy from burning fat. If too little fat is eaten, the body will instead break down protein, which will cause it to leave ketosis. Depending on your daily energy expenditure, that means you have to eat between 200 to 355 grams or between 0.45 to 0.8 pounds of pure fat per day. Now, that's a lot of fat, so if you just can't seem to get into ketosis, you can try upping your fat intake. Some strategies to do this are going for fattier cuts of meat, adding loads of butter or tallow into your meals, or integrating high-fat cheeses. Now then, a proper ketogenic diet will already significantly help your body in fighting cancer. But just like with anything in biology, it's not perfect. There is even more we can do to increase mitochondrial activity and decrease mitochondrial damage. Utilizing soft pharmaceuticals, we can support the ketogenic diet in normalizing mitochondrial functions. EGCG, a molecule found in green tea, and curcumin, a molecule found in turmeric, are two natural compounds that have been shown to have various anti-cancer effects by normalizing the mitochondria. Both compounds make it easier for the mitochondria to induce cell suicide, which means that they'll be more effective at eliminating cancer cells. Furthermore, EGCG promotes mitochondrial activity. This improves mitochondrial ability of eliminating cancer cells and makes them better at regulating cell growth. The best thing about them is that they have basically no side effects when taken in non-toxic dosages. For curcumin, dosages of up to at least 12 grams per day have been shown to be safe. For EGCG, dosages of up to 800 milligrams per day for up to 4 months have been proven safe. If supplementation of EGCG is to occur for any longer than that, dosages between 300 milligrams per day and at max 600 milligrams per day are recommended. Be wary when buying EGCG supplements that they only contain green tea extract and that they actually contain the right amount of EGCG. With these changes implemented, you'll significantly improve your chances of outliving and curing cancer. However, that is of course only the case if these changes are implemented consistently. Keeping a positive mindset makes this much, much easier. So, as a little bonus at the end, I want to give you a way to achieve exactly that. Simply put, you have to live your life. Now that probably sounds extremely cliche, but it truly does help. Of course, cancer is a vicious disease. It will take up a lot of time and energy. There's no two ways about that. But not letting yourself be defined by your diagnosis and by your disease is extremely important. You're not merely a cancer patient. You're a human who happens to have cancer. That means you have a life to live. You have things to do, you have a family to love, and you have friends to spend time with. If you let cancer take away those things, it becomes far too easy to lose hope. And once that happens, fighting cancer becomes almost impossible. So allow yourself to enjoy your life. Focus on the present instead of always fearing the future that might come. Whew, that was a bit more intense than I intended, but I think it got the point across. We talked about quite a lot today, so let's summarize it. First, we took a look at the real cause of cancer, which isn't genetic mutations, but rather dysregulated metabolism. We then looked at how we can use a ketogenic diet as well as supplementation of EGCG and curcumin to fight cancer by normalizing mitochondrial functions. And at the end, we touched on how important keeping a positive mindset is. If you know someone who'd benefit from what we discussed today, don't hesitate to share this video with them. Also, if you've made it this far in the video, you might be exactly who we're looking to help outlive cancer. So if you want or need help implementing countermeasures to cancer, you can get in touch with us at marchwood.com/outlive or by clicking the link in the description. Now, thank you dearly for your time. I wish you swift healing and lasting health. Peace out.